Welcome to Viticulture Live 2020. My name is Guy Gaskin. I'm a fruit expert at Yara. For now, I would like to say thank you to Karen Wheeler for all of her help and support in setting up Viticulture Live 2020. I would also like to take the opportunity to present to you my colleague Alexander Macedo will talk to us about viticulture in South America. Please take the opportunity to take a look at our microsite, which can be found with the other microsites. I hope you enjoy the show. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, I'm Alexander Macedo. I'm an agronomist, work in Yara a little bit longer than 25 years, being working in quite many places around the world. And I'm originally from Brazil. And well, today I'll give you some overview of viticulture in South America, an area that I used to travel as an agronomist specialized in plant nutrition for quite many years. So one of the areas that we started, one of the countries I want to start is Chile, which comes quite a lot in terms of importance of wine production. So first of all, I would like to show you how vast is the area of production in Chile. Actually, if we think about a parallel, we are talking about south of Spain, north of Africa in terms of latitude. But because of the influence of the low temperature of Pacific Ocean, actually it is a lot more temperate zone that is equivalent into Europe, and that's why they are able to produce wine in such a vast area. So you can see the country is between the Andes mountain and the Pacific Ocean, and those are the boundaries. And we're talking about desertic area. So that has a lot of positive, let's say, advantages. Like they can really control the amount of water that goes into their crop. They can also control some diseases. For instance, the phylloxera. The country is considered free of phylloxera. So most of the areas in Chile, they don't need it to graft, and this is, first of all, is a reduction in cost for the wine producers, but also it seems like a purity of their wines, and they see that as a positive element in terms of taste, and this is what they are trying to sell in the market. But I'll talk about one particular area, which is the most popular or intense area of production, which is the Chilean Central Valley. You can see here they are between the Andes and another chain of mountains just before the Pacific, and this is they call Entre Cordillera. So it's the Central Valley. And as you can imagine, there's quite a lot of water that comes from the snow melting from the Andes, and that produce some rivers here, which is a very good source of water. And as we were saying, it's a desertic area, so they need to apply irrigation in order to get the crops to survive. And just one curiosity, just the other side of the Andes, and then you have Mendoza area in Argentina. So with the more or less, similar parallel in terms of production. So the Central Valley started by, south of Santiago, the capital. It goes all the way down to Talca region. So it's a quite long and extensive area, and then it's internationally the most known area of wine production in Chile. Consequences of that, desertic area. So you have all the negative part of that. So they have a problems with salinity here in this area, and also they have some problems of a mineral deficiency. Like potassium is a quite common nutrient deficiency, caused by sometimes accumulation of sodium in some particular areas. But also they have a nitrogen deficiency because almost no organic matter to keep that nitrogen. So it's quite common into that. I will speak about some other consequence of that. The good thing is that as they utilize micro irrigation there, so they can use fertigation. So they use the fertigation quite often to correct those nutrient deficiency, which is a quite big difference from the most of the wine and areas in Europe. Well, then another country that I also would like to speak about is Argentina, and Argentina, like I said, the other side of the Andes Mountains, and they have quite a unique situation there, because although they are considered phylloxera free, they have some phylloxera there, but apparently it's a weak biotype that not survive very long in the soil, and even if it attacks the plants, it doesn't damage too much, and the roots can grow back again. So although they consider themselves free of phylloxera, most of the areas are ungrafted. They have some phylloxera there into the soils. And it's difficult to say why they have this weak biotype, but it can be associated by years and years of utilizing flood irrigation for irrigation of the vineyards, which has produced some saturated soils. But this is not all clear. And recently, some of the new vineyards, they started to graft to see if they can gain some more protection, but the vast majority is ungrafted. And then we talk about production in Argentina. Mendoza comes with a really the most important area. It's is the largest production area in Latin America. And just some comparison of the importance of Mendoza. Mendoza alone can count for half of the entire planted area in US, or the entire area of New Zealand and Australia together in terms of wine production. So it's a really intense and a vast production area. Although they have reduced in the last century, but they still massive. And as similar to Chile, they bring water from the melted caps into the Andes, and this is quite a crucial component for their irrigation. But they were using for quite many years flooded irrigation, which was not ideal because they could not control yield, and that was seen as a negative item or issue in terms of quality. But in the 90s, they introduced micro irrigation, and with the micro irrigation came a much better control on the yields, and then a consequence on their quality. Now, as an agronomist, this is what I've seen quite a lot into the region. So as a consequence of working on those desertic soils that are also salinized, we can see potassium the deficiency, quite widespread, and one of the consequences that we also see very often is the relation between potassium and diseases tolerance. So here I just show photographs with botrytis with potassium, without potassium. So this is one of the things that is quite easy to find in both areas. Saline soils are often linked to high pH, and then comes availability of some trace elements like zinc. It's one example, and we can see the quality is being quite severely affected when zinc is not corrected. Although this is not linked to high pH, but it's linked to the soil itself, we see boron deficiency quite often, and that is together with zinc are the most common trace nutrient deficiency we see into the region, with a severe impact in yields in particularly. Another area we said in the beginning of this presentation about the nitrogen. Desertic soils, almost no organic matter. So the nitrogen is definitely a problem. And one of the common uses for quite many years was to apply urea or ammonium sulfate. And if you don't have the soil flora to convert ammonium into nitrates, part of this nitrogen can go into the plant as ammonia itself and cause an ammonium toxicity. So in areas that they still use, for instance, urea as a nitrogen fertilizer, it's common to see problems with the toxicity, and then if the leaves are damaged, the yields are damaged, and quality consequently into the grape. So it's an area that I would like to call attention. So on fertigation, the more knowledgeable farmers, they utilize nitrates, both from potassium nitrate, but also from calcium nitrate into their fertigation for correction. So this line I'd like to finalize. It's quite clear for many of the quality producers that trace elements can influence on wine quality. So it's a common practice as well. The farmers all the time to get tissue samples, analyze trace elements, and make the corrections needed. That is not only zinc and boron; it can be the full range, in particularly because of the high pH conditions. So I hope this was useful for all of you to have a glimpse on what is going on and to the other side of the world in terms of wine producers. And please leave your questions into the chat, and we're going to be quite glad to answer them. Thank you. Bye.